quiet chaos of my own mind. My focus used to be a fortress under siege. Every distraction was a trebuchet stone against my walls, every flicker of doubt a breach in my defenses. I fought a war against hesitation every day, and I could feel my own line begin to break. But what if the keys to my victory weren't in the modern world, but were etched in the ancient runes of the most fearsome warriors to ever walk the earth? What if the same iron will that drove Viking longships through storm and sea could be the force that allowed me to conquer the tempest in my own soul? Stay with me. I'm not here to give you a history lesson. I'm here to share how I reclaimed my power by decoding the war doctrines of the Vikings and forging them into a weapon of unbreakable self-discipline. This was my anvil. The hammer was in my hand, and I had to strike. The shield wall, the fortress of iron resolve. The most dreaded sight on any battlefield was the skjaldborg, the shield wall. This wasn't just a line of men. It was a living fortress of wood, iron, and will. To their enemies, it was a terrifying testament to absolute unity. But I learned its true power wasn't in the shields. It was forged in the discipline of the man behind the shield. Each warrior had to trust the brother to his left and his right, holding his ground under a hellstorm of arrows. If one man faltered, a gap opened. If one man broke, the entire line was doomed. The shield wall's strength was its immovable, collective resilience. So how did I build this ancient bastion within my own mind? I forged a mental shield wall. I started thinking of my purpose as the king I was sworn to protect. The chaos of the modern world, the endless notifications, the hollow lure of social media was the enemy army. I realized relying on willpower alone was like trying to hold a castle gate shut with my bare hands. Eventually, I'd tire and be overwhelmed. A shield wall is different. It's a system of locks and braces I learned to build before the battle began. My shields became the non-negotiable vows I made to myself. The first shield was locking my phone away for 90 minutes of focused war. The next shield, interlocking with the first, was my battle plan for the day. A schedule dictated by my will, not my inbox. Another was my vow to a warrior's bedtime, guarding the energy I needed for the dawn. Like the Viking holding the line, I had to stand shoulder to shoulder with these vows. When a distraction clawed at my mind, a tempting video, a quick glance at the news, I learned not to fight it. I stood firm behind my wall. I trusted the fortress I had built. The shield wall taught me that discipline isn't about fighting every skirmish. It's about building a defense so absolute that the enemy's arrows clatter harmlessly against it. That wall became my resolve, and every day I held the line, the iron of my will grew harder. The surprise raid, the decapitating strike on procrastination. While the shield wall was their unshakable defense, the Viking saga was written in the lightning of the surprise raid. They were masters of the unexpected, overwhelming their foes before a defense could be conceived. Their longships allowed them to appear as if from the mists, strike and vanish. The principle wasn't just speed, but decisive action. They did not wait for the battle. They were the battle. This became the hammer I used to shatter my own chains of procrastination. I understood that procrastination festers in the silence between thought and action. That hesitation is an unlocked door, an open invitation for doubt and fear to to enter and build a fortress against you. The Viking raid taught me to kick that door in before the enemy even knows I'm on their street. This meant I had to prepare for my most vital tasks in secret, and then launch an attack before my own mind could rally its defenses. If my goal was a morning workout, the raid began the night before. My clothes became my armor, laid out and ready. My water was filled. When I woke up, my mind was a sleepy sentry at his post. There was no negotiation. I didn't ask the sentry for permission. I stormed past him before he could even sound the alarm. I learned to act before the voice of weakness was awake enough to speak. This is the 3-2-1-go principle, forged in the heart of a berserker. If I had a difficult call to make, I'd prepare my words, take one breath, and dial before I could retreat. If I had a great work to begin, I'd open the page and write just one sentence. That was my beachhead. That was the beginning of the raid. The surprise raid became my creed of proactive and immediate action. I stopped giving doubt time to form its battle line. I was already there, taking ground, victorious before the enemy even knew there was a war. The Sunstone, the unwavering light of your why. How did Viking sailors navigate the vast, featureless gray of the North Atlantic? When the sun shone, it was their guide. But in the fog and endless clouds, legend speaks of a tool, the Solarstein, the Sunstone. This crystal could capture polarized light and reveal the sun's true position, even when it was completely hidden. It was a tool for maintaining direction when all visible signs had vanished. This was the most profound lesson for my own soul. I had to find my Sunstone, my core purpose, my why. In the daily battle, it's so easy to become lost. The sky of your life becomes overcast with monotony and setbacks. You lose sight of the horizon. In those moments, discipline felt meaningless to me. That's when I learned I must raise my Sunstone. My Sunstone is the fundamental reason I began this journey. I had to learn the difference between a goal and my why. A goal is a destination on the map, like lose 20 pounds or earn a promotion. My why is the compass itself. It's the unwavering needle that always points to my true north, no matter what map I'm using. Why did I crave that strength? I realized it was to be a titan for my children. Why did I demand that success? It was for the freedom it would grant my bloodline. It was to prove to the boy I was that I became the man I was destined to be. When I am lost in the fog, I hold this why up to the eye of my soul. Discipline without purpose is a slave's labor. But I found that discipline fueled by a powerful why becomes a calling, a saga. My purpose is the hidden sun, and aligning with it corrects my course, no matter how thick the clouds of doubt. The Berserker, the psychological warfare of unstoppable focus. No saga of the Vikings is complete without the roar of the Berserker. These warriors were the ultimate psychological weapon, said to enter a divine, trance-like fury. They fought with a terrifying, unstoppable ferocity. The Berserker represents a state of absolute, single-minded focus, a total commitment where fear and doubt are annihilated. Their power was a state of mind that made them a force of nature. My goal was not to unleash uncontrollable rage. For me, the modern warrior's translation of the Berserker was to cultivate a state of controlled, white-hot focus. My daily energy was like the light of the sun, spread out and warm, but not powerful enough to burn. The Berserker mindset was like using a magnifying glass to concentrate all that scattered light onto a single point until it burns through any obstacle. I achieved this by waging psychological war on my own internal enemies. I forged a personal ritual that ignited my power. It was a mantra I repeated like a war drum before a great task. A single song that plunged me into a state of flow. These weren't just habits. They became my war cry against the part of me that whispered for me to shrink. Berserker mindset was to commit so completely to the task at hand that there was no room for anything else. When I work, I am only work. When I am with my family, I am only with them. I built a reputation with myself. Just as the Berserker's fearsome reputation did half their work for them, the reputation I forged as someone who follows through began to demoralize my future laziness. I didn't just fight procrastination. I began to intimidate it into submission. The Vikings were not mindless brutes. They were strategists, navigators, and masters of inner and outer war. For me, their tactics became a timeless blueprint for forging my own soul. The shield wall taught me to build an unbreakable defense of resolute habits. The surprise raid showed me how to strike decisively against my own hesitation. The Sunstone reminded me to stay true to my core purpose when I felt lost. And the Berserker gave me the key to waging war on my own fear. By forging these four tactics into my very being, defensive resilience, proactive war, purposeful direction, and focused fury, I created more than discipline. I forged the mindset of a warrior who is the master of his own fate. I stopped being a victim of the storm. I started becoming the storm. The knowledge has been given, but wisdom is earned in the fire of action. Your first battle begins now. This week, what is the one shield you will forge and raise in your own shield wall? Will you declare a non-negotiable time to kill all distractions? Will you carve out one sacred hour for your life's great work? Declare your vow in the comments below. Forge your shield wall with us. If this ancient wisdom has armed you for your modern battles, like this video, subscribe, and become the warrior you were born to be. Stand fast.